We are back for the 100th episode of the We Don't Know Sports podcast. And you know what? Mr. Brown and myself decided to get a little selfish. It's a Mountaineer edition as we talk to two all-time greats. This is the We Don't Know Sports podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back once again to the We Don't Know Sports podcast. This is your host, Chad the Mark, with my other host,
Mr. Brown.
And we decided to celebrate. What is today?
100th episode.
100 big ones.
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel good?
Feels good.
Man, I was looking back at some of the past shows we had, and there's a lot of news that's happened. I don't know if starting a podcast venture right before the coronavirus took off is the best strategy, but damn it, we've seen and heard a lot.
It's been a wild ride. And to think that it started in a casual conversation on a Sunday afternoon on a bar stool, and here we are 100 episodes later.
A lot of things happen at bars. We know that.
Absolutely. But usually you don't follow through.
No, we don't.
With things that happen on a bar stool.
Well, and then some things do get followed through on, and you don't really enjoy those as much.
18 years later.
Little regrets.
Yes.
Anyway, the exciting thing is we decided to be a little selfish, and while we cover the national scope of sports, college football is getting ready to start, and we decided, you know what, we're going to a Mountaineer game soon. So what a better time than now to actually talk to two all-time Mountaineer greats. And we did with Owen Schmitt, the runaway beer truck, and West Virginia's all-time leading rusher, Avon Cobourne.
How do you get two better guests than that? I mean, we're celebrating Mountaineer football, getting ready to start, and we went all out. We got two of the biggest names in Mountaineer football history.
And they're fun. And, they apologized to us a couple times for kind of taking over the interview because they started interviewing each other. But
that's what you want.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. We were like, no, it's cool, man. Like, we just kept going, and, we asked them some questions, had some fun. And it's the bulk of what the show is going to be because, you know what, for 100 episodes, for once, we're like, you know what, let's just do what we want to do and not worry about what the listener thinks. We'll just do what we want to do. And we know we have a lot of Mountaineer faithful that listen to the show. We know we have a ton of Mountaineer interaction on social media. So hopefully they'll enjoy it as much as we enjoyed talking to them.
I mean, and I appreciate the fact they kind of jumped in and you ask a question and then instead of going back and forth, they started just feeding off of each other and talking about previous coaches and all that stuff. And they were getting each other fired up, and it was a great interview.
So find someone who loves you and looks at you the way that Owen Schmitt will look at Avon Cobourne when he talks about how much he admires him as a running back. And not that Avon didn't like Owen, but find someone to love the way Avon loved his fullback, because that dude lit up like a Christmas tree when we start talking about that. But anyway, that's all coming up. And just to kind of go down memory lane before we get started, our first ever interview that we did was with a Mountaineer player. And Eugene Napoleon, good guy, was a running back in the Major Harris days. And from there, we have catapulted into this whole world of interviews where, especially you, Mr. Brown, your connection with Major League Baseball and former players is unparalleled right now. You probably, I would go out on a limb and say, of any just random guy that would have a social media account, you probably have more big league friends than anyone out there.
I'd say you're probably right.
I mean, I
like my chances.
Yeah, I would put money on it. I don't know if I'd bet a body part, but I'd put money on it. And some of those people have been nice enough to come on the show. Some of them haven't. Some of them might in the future. But I go back and look at the early days of the show when we'd get guys like Ray King on, who was a treat to talk to.
Great interview. Cut loose.
I mean, just good times. And then
talks about what's Magic City.
Man, yeah, that's how long that was.
Right.
And then you go back and we've had baseball artists, or what's his name?
Jacob Burgess.
Jacob Burgess, that's drawing people. We got him because he's a Braves fan and he's drawing Braves pictures. And Zach Ford, friend of the show, out in McCovey Cove catching balls. But then, like, it evolves into guys like Tom Browning, Mr. Perfect, coming on the show, and Black Jack McDowell.
Cy Young winner Jack McDowell, Brett Boone, 40 home runs as a second baseman.
Who we will take credit for him starting his podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
You cannot convince me otherwise. Brett Boone, we love you, and we're so glad that you're still involved with our baseball stuff out there. But, I'm glad we gave you some inspiration that if these jackasses can do a podcast, I can too.
Yeah, because obviously I'm Brett effing Boone.
Hey, his guests are phenomenal.
Absolutely.
He's got Pudge this week. There's a shout out.
He's got
Brett.
Pudge coming up. But he assured me that he's been a little bit busy, but he's welcome to come back on our show, and I think he'll do that before October.
And you know what? We had Paul O'Neill join us in between a doubleheader.
I mean, is that not when you know you've kind of made it?
I mean, that's badass, right?
He's announcing for Yes Network, and he takes a few minutes of his time to sit down and interview with us in between a Yankees doubleheader.
Yeah, I mean, and did not feel rushed.
No,
like it was a half hour.
Very genuine.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me when we first started this was you and I talked. We were going to do a podcast. We didn't think about guests. We didn't know where it was going to take us.
We just wanted to sit around and bullshit.
Talk sports.
Yeah.
We just assumed it would be us.
Yeah.
Well, then it kind of evolved with social media into these big names. And the biggest takeaway that I've got from this whole process, well, two big things. It has greatly helped me in my fear of speaking on a public level.
Sure.
One. And two, as far as the guests go, I love the fact that not all, but the majority, I'd say that 90% of the guests we've had, even though they're big leaguers, make you feel like one of the guys.
Yeah.
They don't make you feel like you're owed anything.
I would say 90%.
They're owing you anything.
90% of the guests we've talked to, I mean, we almost have to cut the interview because it's too fun. Like we're just talking, we're cutting up. There's the 10% that, some people just aren't great interviews.
I mean, it's genuinely like locker room talk. The majority of them cut loose. We have fun. And like I said, they're just it's almost like they're sitting here in the studio in the garage and we're just talking crap watching the ball game.
Yeah, hearing stories about hunting kangaroos in the outback. I mean,
in the nude.
In the nude with Aborigines.
Correct.
Oh my, there's layers to these stories, man. This is the stuff people need to make sure they go back and listen.
Heaven forbid, don't go into the locker room with Bo Jackson around.
No.
In the shower.
We'll just leave that there for the own imagination to figure that out. But
Bo knows.
He does. So does everybody else, apparently. But it's been fun, man. And we set out not to do this we're not trying to be the next Barstool. We're not trying to be the next Joe Rogan podcast or anything. We're just some guys that sit around and we shoot the breeze. And I'll tell you what, we do enjoy doing our NFL Stone Cold Lead Pipe Locks of the Week. That's coming up soon. And I'm sure we'll beat Bleacher Report for the third year in a row. But that's beside the point. But we do this just for fun. It's our once a week. We get together. We talk about whatever has gone on in the past week. And it can be everything from NBA to NFL to Major League Baseball to what movies we saw to something that happened in the news we try to keep it sports though. And in a world where people don't seem to be able to do that now, I think we've done a pretty damn good job just being able to talk sports.
And we cut loose. I mean, that's what's made it so fun. We don't make it about politics. We like to cut up. And that's what it should be about. It should be about bringing people together. I don't care how you vote in November. We're going to talk crap about your team. We'll talk crap about our own team if it deserves it.
Yep.
And we're going to keep it fun. And that's what we've been doing. But it's been a wild ride, man.
It has been. And, I look forward to it continuing and doing more and more.
Oh, and one more thing is this is us getting a chance to step away from our real careers
reality
for a minute, only if it's for one evening a week,
yep.
And enjoy each other's company, cut up, enjoy our guest interviews, and just talk about what we love. And it's been fun. And for me, we're all different situations with our work, but I've been with my company now for 19 years, and you kind of go through the motions at a certain point. But for me, this gives me something new and flavorful to look forward to each week, and it gives me, some pep in my step each day.
Dude, I'm working 6 days a week right now, and my job is not the most stressful job in the world, but it's time consuming, man, and I miss a lot of things. So one of my favorite things is when I get to sit down with you and Biggie, who is tending to some family matters today. He's got to be there for his kids, and we appreciate that. Sorry he missed a 100th episode, but he'll be here for 101. But anyway, this is where I get to kind of check back into reality a little bit for sports,
Right.
where I get out of the work vibe and I get to sit down with you guys and you're like, did you see this or did you hear about that? And it's everything to me right now, so I enjoy these conversations. I appreciate you guys tremendously. And we appreciate you guys that actually listen and give us an opportunity. If you like the show and you subscribe, that means the world to us, because then
Tell your friends.
that gives us a reason to keep doing it, and we'll find people. And like today, we asked on social media, what questions do you want us to ask Owen Schmitt and Avon Cobourne? And some people will answer, man, and we'll take that stuff back to them. So we try to be interactive. We do the brackets, man. The brackets go out of control with people giving their 2 cents on that stuff. So, I mean, we're going to keep doing what we do, just keep trying to get better at it. But, man, I think
No, I was just going to say that, we got baseball season winding down. It's in the stretch run here.
Yeah.
October's quickly approaching. It's already September. Temperature shows it the last few days.
oh, my
which is
God.
great.
Yes.
But just a little teaser for next week. We got a sort of a round table discussion with 3 former Major League left-handed pitchers. We haven't really touched about it, but I have a baseball group that piggybacks off the page, America's Pastime, on Facebook, and we've got over 100 Major Leaguers on there. So we're using that platform and our page and our podcast to get future guests, and we're in contact with them daily. So we've got plenty of Major Leaguers lined up. We're probably going to hold off on some because, like I said, the season's winding down.
Yeah, we got
we'll use them throughout the playoffs, and then we'll wait till spring. But we've got plenty of action lined up, and they're very eager and willing to get on the show. Just it's not 1, 2, but 3 Major Leaguers next week on one show.
We're going to be able to herd those cats.
Oh, absolutely. I'm taking the reins, baby.
I know a couple of them are a little passionate, man. So
Oh,
we'll see how it
absolutely.
goes. But the thing about the guests, they all want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not paying people to come on the show. It's just like, hey, man, you want to come hang out and just talk for a little bit?
Yeah.
And they do. They oblige, and it's been great so far.
2 of the 3 are all-stars.
That's,
Former all-stars.
Yeah, dude. We have only had one guest ever that did not make the show, and that was a super fan, a quote unquote super fan. Everything else, man, everybody we found, it's been great.
Yep.
And that's
Wasn't that 2 super fans in the same day?
yeah. Wait, I don't even want to go back to that. It was terrible.
Look, I think we can throw it out for the people who are listening. For the fact is, we do like to bring the fans on, because it's a platform for you guys also to show your passion for your team. But if we ask someone to come on, you damn well better bring it, and I expect you to be in full team attire too.
Yep.
So we had we thought a diehard Bucks and Chiefs fan.
It was back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so we bring him on, and then one guy's walking around doing his vape, walking through his closet
terrible.
What's his name? I don't remember what his name is. The YouTube sensation, but it was god awful. But luckily, with the following that we had, we were able to secure 2 more super fans
within the hour. Within the hour,
they were great,
and they with like no prep, just went and found some other people that had the call to action. And man, they rose up
and they brought it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty about what We Don't Know Sports is. We say that in jest because we feel like we do know a little bit, but this is how we disarm ourselves. We don't know anything.
So if we mess up, we're covered.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like our insurance clause.
Yeah, we wear that like a badge of honor. You know how often we see that on social media?
You don't know sports.
Dude, that's a good name.
But then we say, right. Come on the show, let's talk, and then it's crickets.
Back it up, keyboard warrior.
You damn well know, like I do, if we're sitting in a garage having a conversation with a casual sports fan or someone who claims they're diehard, you can tell within 30 seconds to a minute if they know sports or not.
Absolutely.
And then that's where you determine how your conversation is going to go, because you know whether to back off or dive in a little further.
Yeah, do I need to keep it highbrow or lowbrow?
Right.
That's all about you, because I gotta dictate my pace on your knowledge level.
It literally takes 1 minute, and I can already read you.
Yep.
but I don't know nothing.
No, we don't know sports.
We don't know anything.
All right. Well, guys, we hope you appreciate the interview. Even if you're not a WVU fan, if you're not a Mountaineer fan, man, these guys are great, man. Just we're not asking for their biopic. You know, it's not give us everything that's ever happened to you. You know who these guys are. If you've paid attention to college football, you know who these guys are. So we just kind of caught up with them. We asked them some fun questions. We tried to get some risque answers, but they played the fifth on some of that stuff. Which, hey, you know what? I respect that. But we did get some good answers out of them too.
But just like any college program, you know, they're a brotherhood.
Yep.
So it don't matter what class you're at. You know, you might be 20 years separated, but you feel like that guy's your brother because you played for the same alma mater. There's a connection there.
Dude, neither of these guys are from West Virginia.
Correct.
Where do they live now?
Both in West Virginia.
There you go. That's all you need to know.
And it's diehard. And you don't have to be a Mountaineer fan to appreciate the interview because you could see and you could feel the closeness to them. And they may have never even met in person before, but they immediately meshed and hit it off right from the beginning.
No, it was great, man. The only thing would have been better is if you would have just got them up here to the Man Cave Studios. We'd have been all right.
Yeah, well, one's in Charleston and one's Beckley. We probably could have done that.
We could have planned better.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to the interview. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hey, everybody, this is Chad the Mark, and before we jump into the interview that we so promised to you, we want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Voice of Motown. That's right, Voice of Motown. You can find them at voiceofmotown.com or anywhere on social media. The Voice of Motown is a bunch of guys that are covering West Virginia, football, basketball, whatever, and news, analysis, rumors, anything you can find. They are putting out content each and every day. They do a fantastic job. And they have more shares on articles of any group I've seen out there. So anyway, if you're a Mountaineer fan, if you love college football, don't forget to check out Voice of Motown on Facebook, on Twitter, but more importantly, don't forget their website at voiceofmotown.com. They also got some sweet merch, so make sure you check out their T-shirts. I think I'm going to buy one today, but we appreciate them always being out there looking out for the Mountaineers. Go check out voiceofmotown.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back with our 100th episode, and we decided to go Homer mode because, you know what, we're from West by God, Virginia. College football season's getting ready to start, and we went to the old gold and blue, and we found two legends of the gridiron. We have West Virginia's all-time leading rusher, Mr. Avon Cobourne, and the runaway beer truck himself, Owen Schmitt. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. How's it going?
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. I love it. The runaway beer truck.
Well, you know what's great is when we get to interview guys like you, we don't have to do much of an introduction because, you know, at least with a lot of people we associate with, they're going to know exactly who you guys are. But let's just kind of give a brief synopsis on what you guys are doing now, because I know you're extremely busy guys. And Owen, we see you on a football field right now. So yeah, this is something that just happened recent for you. What are you doing now?
Well, currently working for UPS, but was asked to kind of just help out a little bit, get my feet wet back into the football world. So just helping out with the local high school here, Greenbrier West. And it's been fun getting back out there. I've missed it for a while, and I felt kind of a void. So it's made me full again.
So how do these kids react when you walk onto the practice field for the first time? I'm just curious.
Well, nobody knows who the hell I am, man. That was 15 years. I mean, they're a little twinkle in daddy's eye. You know what I'm saying? A rolling. Now, Mountaineer tradition in West Virginia is obviously, you know, it's heavily prideful. So all the stories, all the legends, all the folklores get told through the generations. So there was some people who knew, and then there's the classic beating myself in the head, which every kid pulled up. Hey, is this you? You're our coach. You know what I mean?
Hey, just so you know, we asked people if they had any questions they wanted us to ask you guys, and that was the one that kept popping up, is how it started with banging the helmet on your head and all that.
Yeah.
You want to put that to bed real quick by any means? I mean, just we're curious too, I guess.
Man, it's a natural reaction. You know what I mean? It just happened to happen. And when you're caught in a moment like that, it happens. Schmitt happens, dude. My career.
Man, hey, I'll say we were all young once. It's okay. It happens to all of us.
Not embarrassed. You know what I mean? I'll say this. Anybody can make themselves bleed on national television. I wouldn't mess with that guy. You know what I mean? So
let me switch over to Avon. So you got this nice office here backdrop we're seeing. I see a couple things on the wall here. Can't make everything out, but what have you been up to, man? I mean, I know it looks like you're repping something on the hat here, and I mean you're a busy guy. So educate us. What have you been up to lately?
Full-fledged financial services business. Part of my internet. I'm in Charleston, so it's good and bad. I mean, he's in Greenbrier, and his is working better than mine. But yeah, so I work for two companies, or work with two companies. One is a financial services company called Primerica, and then also I do mortgages. So it all rolls together. I'm a full-fledged financial services shop. And I hit you up a couple of times and I never got a response to kind of show you what we do. I called you back. I called you back one time and you were putting your child to bed, and I felt really bad for the time I called you back. So we never connected after that. Good, man. No, you're good, man. I'm actually in Charleston right now. Been here for the last 4 years. But I'm excited because Schmitt happens. And I didn't realize that it happened, and I'm glad he didn't play when I played, because I probably wouldn't have played, him being so agile and big at the same time. So man.
Well, I mean,
I was nobody.
He was just Wes Hours 2.0, right?
I was a D3 football player that just toughed it out a little bit, just play a little bit tougher than some of them cats.
Bro, you're a hell of a ball player, man. And it's one of those things that you get to experience the joy after you leave, when people take what you did to the next level, and then the next level, and then take it to where you guys took it. So that's pretty awesome.
I got some Avon, because Coach McGee absolutely, he loved you. You know what I mean? And it was fun, like hearing things that he would talk to you about, just finishing runs and stuff like that. And seeing how, I don't know if it was your sophomore or junior career, maybe it was your junior to senior, just the increase in yardage just through finishing plays. You know what I mean? And understanding that and getting those experience, those little tidbits that you get from coaches that as a player, you don't think about that quite right off the bat, but seeing how those things turn into, all-time leading rusher at WVU.
I appreciate you, man. Coach McGee was a hell of a coach, man. He motivated us to and we didn't have the examples. Like we had examples from Clemson, but Coach McGee, that motherfucker soft. He's soft.
Yeah.
He's soft. So that's one of the things that, like you said, bro, like I thought about it, I had 1,700 yards my senior year, and I'm like, if I really would have thought about it, I probably could have ran for 2,000 if I really put that in my mind to do. And I'm like, damn, why didn't I think about that? I could have been a 2,000. I mean, it's only 200 yards away. It was 290 or something. And that's really, almost 2 games. So, but yeah, man, it's, I love what you guys did for our school, man. You guys took it to the next level. I mean, obviously the talent is speaks for itself, but you guys did awesome, man. And you made us proud. You took us to that next level, man. And I love it. I know I don't want to take over Chad and Greg's show, but just talking about how much I love you guys. But I did, man. I enjoyed watching you. I enjoyed I enjoy seeing us go to that level, man.
Oh, it was the best. I mean, talk about building a program and coming in and not really knowing what we were going to be, and then everything just meshing and coming into place. It was a special time. And that's what I think's awesome too about West Virginia is the tradition of all the players when we come back, we're all teammates, obviously. Even if we didn't play with each other, all those good stories and those good memories, they all come back together, and the camaraderie and the oneness, the teamness comes in play. And that's, I think, what we all miss the most from the playing days.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head because, like, unlike a lot of states, we don't have any pro teams in any sport. So the whole state, and even from the fan base and the players as well, like you just said, we all rally around Mountaineer football, no matter what class or year you're in, because it's all a common thing for all of us, and we're all passionate about it, because that's all we got, and we love our Mountaineers.
And no apologies needed for you guys interacting by all means. That's why we got both of you on here at the same time. Like, we appreciate that type of stuff. That's good, man. But I do want to ask Avon something here real quick because, you're a couple years older than I am. And I just remember when you played, there's something you did that I hadn't seen before. And, and maybe other people had done it, but it was new to me. And then we saw more people do things like this in the years to come. But chill, son. Like, where'd that come from? Wow, that was such a big deal. And we're not talking, for people that don't know, this is not a small mouth guard. It's the one that's all over the lips from the nose down to the chin, and it had chill, son written on there. So what's the message there? Why did you do that?
You know what? I don't know if you probably do remember Angel Estrada. So him and his little brothers, they would always, that was kind of their thing. Chill, son. And I actually stole that idea of writing on the mouth guard from Phil Braxton. And Phil Braxton used to have "Don't sleep" on his mouth guard. Nobody ever knew that because, I'm in the camera all the time. But I stole that from him, and I put that on my mouth guard. And from that point on, man, it just became a thing. Like, it was just like make sure that Chill Son is on there. And it's funny because I made it a brand and we got it trademarked and the whole nine. And my wife actually just said something today, like, we need to have an event where we can just give these shirts away. Cause we made shirts, we got hats, we got the whole shebang. When we was in Canada, like we did it up right. We had a player, one of my teammates, he was an artist and he drew a logo. He drew the logo for me. If you don't mind, if I can step over and grab an actual mouth guard.
No, go grab it, man. By all means, like, this is Mountaineer folklore right here, like the Chill Son. This is kind of cool for me, but we'll just sit here awkwardly and kill time till he comes. All right, he's back. He's back.
So what happened was, I don't know if you can. Oh, so it's upside down. There it is. So it says chill, like chill, and then son at the bottom. And so I just made it into a football, and we got little lanyards and everything. And I don't do anything with it anymore, but we got a trademark. We was in Canada, just selling it and building the brand, and then we kind of stopped but yeah, man, that was all started from Angel Estrada. Like, his brothers would always come down. They were younger too. Scotty and Felix, and they would always say, "Chill, son." And then, I seen Phil write it on his mouthpiece. He said, "Don't sleep." And then I put the Chill Son on there, and then it kind of took off. And it's funny, like, if you see this logo, cause I actually wore this in Canada. It actually looks like the Battle logo. I don't know if you guys seen it, but the Battle, they have those teeth, and it actually kind of looks like teeth. And I'm like, they stole my idea.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's all love.
All right, just to clear up something real quick, you are a marketing major from WVU, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, makes sense. Makes sense.
Absolutely.
So let me swing back over to Owen real quick. So you're a walk-on, correct? Like, are you a walk-on to the NFL story? Is that what happened with you?
So I played D3 for a year up in Wisconsin, and I had just basically made a couple of VHS tapes, and
those are for VCRs for the kids that are too young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Date myself, I guess, a little bit, but yeah, my mom and I drove around to a couple schools. We dropped some films off. Nobody really called me except for Donnie Young sent me an email and said, "Hey, man, why don't you stop by, drop your film off?" I was like, okay, well, they at least get a chance to see my size. You know what I mean? And hopefully they like the film. And they gave me a preferred walk on, which is just basically you can walk on. It's not it's not anything special. You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, I hope you're ready to get your head beat in because you're going to be a tackling dummy for the next 4 years.
Right.
And basically was just a son of a bitch on scout team and worked my tail off in the weight room and made it hard for guys in practice to block me. And which was a struggle too, you know what I mean? Because there's kind of like it's a rule, but not a rule. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't be a practice hero. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to be a practice hero, but I was still trying to get noticed.
You was better than everybody else. That's what it was. You was better.
I know what he's saying though. He's got to walk the line. Like he don't want to be out there being the practice hero, and everybody's just like, all right, look at this try hard. That's I understand.
I was the guy who played with a lot of guys who went and played D1, and it did hurt me. I was bummed. I was like, man, why didn't I get the shot? And just exposure, and stuff like that, and. It's funny because, I think back because I dropped the film off at Virginia Tech and called them back, and the coach was like, yeah, we got plenty of white running backs. We're good on that. And it made me laugh because I was like, this guy didn't even pick the film up. You know what I mean? He just like got a film, maybe turned it on for a second and was like, yeah, this is, if he would have turned it on, he would have seen me taking it, 80 yards to the house running wishbone offense. You know what I mean? But
I know that pissed you off. I know that just fired you up. Did he actually say that? Did he actually say we already got enough white running backs?
He said we had white running backs, which meant I'm booty. I'm terrible.
You're not athletic enough. I got it.
Exactly. I am not athletic. That's exactly what that meant. So yeah, that hurt me a little bit. And, and I even had talks with, Al Simonson in Maryland, and he had coached with John O'Grady, who was my coach in Wisconsin. They coached at Wisconsin together. And this was at River Falls. John O'Grady was my coach, and Al Simonson and him talked. And, his message to me was, why don't you just stay at D3 and become an All-American? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to West Virginia. They offered me a walk-on position. Right. And then the whole drama behind they, took Steve's scholarship away. Then we whipped up on them every year we played. It's a funny story, man. And it's just kids slip through the cracks, every day. And willing to put in the effort and willing to put in the work, you can shine. But it's a long grind and it's mentally exhausting. That first year when I was, quote unquote redshirted and I couldn't play. I mean, I was giving it my all. I wasn't really making progress, obviously, because they couldn't put me on the field, but it was just that much deterring that kind of like didn't set my mind at ease for what I was trying to accomplish. And then fortunately for me, I worked all summer in the schoolwork program and was awarded a scholarship that following year, which was just, was awesome. An awesome moment that happened. And then the success we went on to have, which was like, that's what you want a career to be like. You know what I mean? You want to be a part of teams like that. So overall, just one hell of an experience that just probably, just never can forget.
Bro. God damn, that's a good story. I'm fired up right now. I want to go play Maryland right now.
Watch out, Greenbrier West is about to get we saw what happened with that high school on ESPN this week. Avon, you could probably still go play. You can go play for what was that, Bishop Sycamore or whatever?
Yeah.
We'll just make Greenbrier West that. That's what we'll do. It'll be fine. But the thing I wanted to ask you, so, you made it to the NFL, and then I'm going to switch over to Avon and ask him the same thing, a little bit about Canada. So you got to play for 3 different teams. What was your favorite city to play in while you were there?
Philly was fun, man. It was, I love Seattle. That was great too for the nature stuff. I like to snowboard. I like to hike. I like doing that kind of deal. The fresh seafood down at Pike's Place Market. But Philly, we were just I was on such a great team that first year with Mike Vick, Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Macklin, Jason Avant, LaShawn McCoy, Brent Selleck. We had such a great squad, and it was cool to be able to go there. And, I still get starstruck. I'm like, man, I played with Michael Vick. Like, he was a legend. I mean, he is a legend. It's Michael Vick. It blew my mind. I really got starstruck when I got there, but it was just, I loved it. The team vibed well. If you've ever been on a team like that, I was searching for that West Virginia in the pros and just never really found it until I kind of got there. And then unfortunately we had the strike the next year, and we ended up changing a bunch of things up, and trying to, basically buy a Super Bowl, bringing a bunch of guys in. But, that first year in Philly definitely was probably the most fun for me, just because of the success.
I can appreciate that. Philly's got that fan base, so I can see where you'd like that too. And it's hard for a fullback in the NFL now. That's a position that's like a dinosaur. It's kind of gone away, but you made it longer than a lot of fullbacks do, man. Hats off to you for that.
Yep. You can only do what they give you. You can't make plays out of air. They got to actually give you the football for them to make progress. You know what I mean? You can knock 1 million people down on the ground and bust heads all day, but they want touchdowns.
Now, Avon, you ended up in Canada, and you played up there quite a while. So, like, we know the rules are different in Canada. We know the field's different. There's 12 players, I guess, and all kinds of different things. We don't have to go into great detail about the CFL, but you were out in Western Canada when you played, weren't you?
No, I was actually in the East Coast. I was the East Coast guy.
Oh, okay.
I coached on the West Coast. Actually, it was the Midwest. But yeah, I was in Montreal, which is probably one of the greatest cities in the world. Like, if you've never been, I would suggest you go in the summertime. It's phenomenal.
I have had several people say that exact same thing. What's so great about Montreal, man?
It's crazy, man, because it's like, as far as women wise, like, it's the most beautiful women. And I mean, they dress up every day. Like, it's awesome. I mean, it's like New York, but clean. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever been when you see rats coming in, rats running New York. It's like New York, but it's clean. You know what I mean? And it's just a beautiful city, man. And they love their Alouettes and they show love out there. It was a good experience, man. Went out there, won a couple championships. That was always good.
And ran for over 1,000 yards at least once I know of, maybe a couple times. Like, because I feel like that game is built so much around passing. Is it common to get 1,000 yards in the CFL, or is that more of a rare thing compared to regular traditional football?
It's common. I mean, whoever the starter is, because you're going to average like 6 yards a carry up there, because of the fact that, you already get a yard and then they expect you to pass. So, but then, unless they know you're going to run, then it becomes a little different. But yeah, man, it was good, man. It was, I think that it was built for me because I had great hands as a receiver. And I was actually, if I wouldn't have got injured, I would have had 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing, which would have been, nobody's ever done that up there. And there's a lot of great players that played up there, but from I got injured and we ended up, going to the championship that year and they were like, yeah, we're not gonna risk it. You getting a stat for you not to play. So it was one of those things. It was good though.
All right. So you mentioned that you got a couple titles up there, but you also got a Grey Cup MVP. Is that correct?
Yep. So
what,
did, man? It was.
Yeah,
awesome.
What's that exactly? Is that for like a certain period of time? Is that the whole season? How does that work?
That was for the game. It was like, the Grey Cup and Super Bowl, and in that game, I won. I don't know how I won. We had so many, like, our defense balled out, but when it came to like you said, scoring touchdowns, that's what happened. They want the guy that's going to score touchdowns. So, and that's what it was. And I scored a couple touchdowns and I put myself in a position to, just to make plays. And I was just making plays and wasn't going to take, not winning.
All right, man. Hey, we're gonna jump into some rapid fire questions here before Owen ends up driving somewhere in Greenbrier County where he doesn't have cell phone service, because I know that'll happen in West Virginia. So we gotta be careful here. I say rapid fire, but if you guys want to expand on any of it, you absolutely can. But my first question I want to ask is, we'll start with Owen. Best opponent you ever played against, and this can be a player or a specific team if you want to go that route. Best opponent you've ever been against.
It was enjoyable playing against Taquito Spikes.
Okay. That's the man with the thickest neck I've ever seen.
Yes, that's 26 inches, I believe.
All right. How about you, Avon?
My toughest opponent, shoot, I done forgot his name. I mean, to be honest with you, Barrett Green. Like, I hated that guy. And he was actually on the team. Like, that dude, he was like air for real. Like, he was like air. Like, anytime we had a scrimmage, like, he was going to show up. So Barrett was, as far as WVU wise, it was Barrett Green. And professional wise, I don't know. I guess the biggest guy I've ever played against was Brian Urlacher. I went up and attempted to hit him, and he looked at me like I was crazy. You know what I mean? I'm 5'8", 100 and nothing. You know what I mean? 180 pounds in the NFL, 182 pounds, and I go up to hit him, and he just is like, "Get out of here, little dude." I'm like, whatever.
That's great.
All right. How about if you guys were in college right now, having the careers you had, would you be able to take advantage of the name, image, and likeness? Would you guys be getting paid? How do you feel about the kids today with that opportunity?
Would I be getting paid?
Yeah.
Bro, how many jerseys they sold of mine? You know how many jerseys was out there? How y'all get paid? I promise you. And I was actually going to change my number because you're looking at the stands and there's so many jerseys. And I'm like, if I change my number, the people just going to buy that jersey. So I'm like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, billboards, the university would have been, that's crazy. Absolutely.
I know Owen could have probably got like Coors Light or something, right? Can they do that for college? Can you get it? No, they can't do alcohol, can they? I was just saying the runaway beer truck thing. That would have worked.
It probably would have been like, I don't know, if I was over 21, but the whole amateur thing, but now that's kind of all blown up. So I don't really know personally where it would have been, but I'm sure it would have been a couple shekels.
Hey, Owen, I want to ask you this on a scale 1 to 10. Tell everybody, how hard is it to run a bar that has live music?
Oh, man. It is so much fun, but it is a 24/7 job, man. And it literally it'll deteriorate your soul. It is a hard thing. It will, man. It's just, it's a cash business. Obviously there's credit too, but there's just a lot of exchange of cash, a lot of product that's being exchanged, that you hope your people are being honest about it. But we all know we've all at one time probably gotten a free drink at a bar. And if you've gotten one, think of how many more they've given out. You know what I mean? So, that's tough. The liability of getting 400 people crammed in a small space and getting them absolutely to the right point so they don't explode, but they have just the right amount of fun. That's an art for sure in itself. And then just working with the bands and stuff is fun. Everybody was very cool. There wasn't ever, guys who were like, you need to give us all the green M&Ms. I would have told them to just kiss my butt. Really, here's your bag, deal with it. But the guys are cool. We brought a lot of cool music to Morgantown. A lot of guys who are blowing up now. So it was a lot of fun, but it was if I could, I wish I would have done it differently with a partner where I didn't have to be there all the time. That was what was probably the hardest thing for me.
Gotcha. Hey, we could have called John Taffer and Bar Rescue, send him up there. Maybe that would have helped. I don't know, man. Have him run the business for you. That would have been all right.
No, honestly, man, the 5 years went great. It was just our lease was up. I was in a bad deal with the landlord. He wanted, basically double what I paid the first 5 years. And I got to make something.
You can't, don't let people extortion you just because you used to be a football player, right?
Dude, man, I'm telling you, people used to say all sorts of stuff like that to me. And I'm like, you don't understand how much money it takes to even run this place and turn a small profit. People thought just because they saw the parking lot packed on the weekends, we were just making millions upon millions of dollars. It takes a lot of money to have great live music every weekend and be able to have, keep that consistency where you have that kind of reputation of always pumping out bands. Some of those, we had Lee Brice there. That was a $45,000 band.
Jeez.
If we wouldn't have sold all the tickets out, I would have been probably eating 20 grand. That would have shut us down. Like there was weekends where I was like, man, we really need a big one. And not the greatest business plan looking from the outside in, obviously now, but a lot of fun, a lot of experience learned, a lot of great people met, and enjoy live music regardless still. So, one hell of a time for sure.
Nah, man, I appreciate the candidness there. Hey, let me ask Avon, what's the craziest thing you've ever seen after 11 o'clock p.m. in Morgantown?
Ooh. I can't tell you that because I'm liable for other people's. I can't tell you that, but I'll just let you in on a. My senior year was phenomenal. Like that was probably the best year. And my freshman year and my senior year, I had no cares in the world my freshman year. I never even drank until college. So I went to college and had an 19 years old drinking a beer. It was pretty phenomenal. And then my senior year, I can't really tell you what happened, but just know there's a lot of people that love West Virginia football.
That is a great vague answer, and we'll take that. I appreciate it.
Gosh.
All right, let me ask you guys this: what's the best place? Owen, you can go first. What's the best place to eat at Morgantown?
I am gonna say for overall college experience, Mario's Fish Bowl is my hole in the wall of choice.
All right, that is not a bad answer.
Give me a cold PBR fish bowl and some cowboy wings.
All right, what about you, Avon?
You know what? It's not there anymore. It was actually the first place I came on my visit. It was called the Back Bay. Now I think it's a strip club.
Back Bay is not there anymore. It's not there anymore. But I would agree with you. Back Bay was awesome.
Back Bay was it, man. That was, oh my goodness. It had alligator and frog legs. First time I had all of that. So I think it's a strip club now, but it was actually that's my favorite restaurant in Morgantown.
Hey, Magic City's a strip club, and I heard they got good chicken wings. So maybe we can try to start a petition and get these back. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Let me ask you guys a little bit about kind of what's going on now. Owen, we'll start with you again, man. How does this Texas-Oklahoma stuff hit with you when we talk about the landscape of college football changing? What's all this conference realignment like 2.0 or 3.0, wherever we're at now? How you feeling right now when it looks at the landscape of college football?
It's, I don't know, man, a lot of greedy people out there putting their hands in the cookie jar, trying to put them in there at least. Man, I think wherever we land, I know a lot of people are worried about all that, but I think wherever we land, we'll do well. We just got to play our brand of football, and that's all we can do. You know what I mean? There's nothing else. who knows? I mean, are we going to be in the ACC? I don't know. I mean, I'd be fine being in like the Big Ten. You know what I mean? I really just be fine us playing anywhere. And there's so much that has changed. I mean, we just I don't know if you guys have been up to the facilities, Avon. I don't know if you've been up there. I hope you get a chance to, because they are absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. But you got fans that still want to be able to go to games. So obviously that East Coast stuff is appealing. It's just, it's weird. It's one of those kind of phases that they're in right now that they have to deal with, but I hope they land at a spot that's really going to help us out.
All right. So Avon, same question to you, and maybe to tweak it a little bit. Where do you think West Virginia might ultimately end up? Not that you have inside knowledge. We're all guessing at this point, but just curious on your thoughts.
I think we'll end up in, hopefully, I mean, again, I think geographically, as the beer truck was just saying, geographically, it would make so much sense for us to be in the ACC. You know what I mean? And we're playing the same teams that we played before. But again, like you said, Big Ten, I'm fine with that as well. I think Big Ten would be anywhere East Coast. You know what I mean? And ultimately, if they feel the need, I would love for our team to be in the SEC. That would take recruiting to a whole nother level. And like he said, I went to the facilities about 2 weeks ago. And when I tell you they are absolutely, phenomenal. So I was in Michigan. I don't know if he had a chance to go to Michigan, and train with Borowitz, but I mean, it's next level. Like when I tell you the inside of the hot tub is like a spa now. I had two bins in a big square. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what they have now. The pads being dry in 2 hours after a hard day's practice, not just that, him being a walk-on, he experienced it worse than I did his first year. But if I was a star running back and I got one pair of gloves for like the entire year, which is crazy. And now everybody gets a pair of gloves. Like it's like, you get some gloves. It's crazy.
It's what you guys helped build, though, man.
It's nuts. I mean, these guys literally take their clothes off and walk through a pellet rain shower to get into a cold tub that they walk through, and it's like it is awesome. It is awesome. But I'm just like, I guess times change. You know what I mean? It's crazy to see that's what you have to do to recruit kids now. Go so far over the top that you literally invested $55 million into a facility, which I'm so happy and glad they got it, because they can compete with absolutely anybody right now.
Yeah,
I'm with both of you guys. I was going to say, both of you guys said at ACC be best geographically, but the biggest rumor that I heard that would be the worst would be the Big 12 aligning with the Pac-12, and that would be so bad for WVU for the travel and the players. I don't know how they would handle that type of road schedule, but I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm sure we'd get real excited for going to Oregon State. That'd be great. But you guys are right about the facilities. I've seen a lot of the videos. I've been to the Puskar Center before, like the stuff they've put into the program. But it's like you said, though, like you're putting millions of dollars into it. But if you're not, then the other school down the road is. And that's where all the recruits will go, just because it's bright and shiny and we like that stuff. So that's where
it's just how it is, man. Yeah. I mean, that's how it is.
It's the big business of college football.
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you guys this. Who is the best running back ever to lace them up for WVU?
Well, to be honest with you,
a trick question?
No. It's not a trick question. I want your honest feelings.
My honest feelings, I mean, the reason why I went to West Virginia was because Amos Zaraway. I mean, I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. I've never asked any man for their autograph, but I asked him for an autograph going there. And then I told him I was going to break all his records after I did that. But, I was like, yeah, can you sign my jersey? And I'm going to break all your records.
But he tells you he left early, though, right? That's what he tells you, right?
I don't care. Whatever it was, I was going to get it. but I mean, he was just phenomenal. He was a specimen to me. Like he was a specimen. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen a human with arms that big, that nimble. Like he was phenomenal. In my opinion, I think he was the reason why I emulated a lot of my game after him.
All right, Owen, how about you?
I mean, numbers don't lie, man. You know what I mean? Got to watch a lot of film of Avon through Coach McGee. You know what I mean? Obviously got to play with Pat. I got to play with Noel. And got to see Tavon. Obviously, it would really be hard to pick, who's the best, but I would have to say, in my opinion, the numbers don't lie. And Avon, I mean, you truly are. You're the best. I mean, you're the all-time leading rusher. I'm just saying, I played with, who I considered in that generation with Pat and Steve and Noel and Tavon. Truly, those guys were speedsters, agility freaks. But like I said, numbers don't lie. I mean, the best is the best. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's a blessing, man. That's a blessing, with that shit. I mean, I ain't gonna say, man, that's a blessing. Appreciate you,
man. I got what I'm saying. Listening to that.
Here's what I'm saying too. I'm not just saying because you're on the show, whatever. I mean, that's not really it. But understanding the coach that he was coached by, him being coachable, listening to that experience, and ultimately becoming a better player because of taking the advice. I mean, that's what I'm saying. In my opinion, you don't become the all-time leading rusher because you're nothing. You know what I'm saying? You put the time in, you put the effort in, you lifted the weights, you did the conditioning, you listened to the coaching, you performed on the field. That, in my opinion, is what builds a great player. Just so happen to be, you're obviously the all-time leading rusher. So, in my opinion, that's why I have that opinion.
I appreciate you. That's good. We could always see, like in our heads, Owen could block for you, and that would have been good, right? We could have just had that. That
would have been great. That would have been fun. He had a hell of a lead blocker though in Mo Fofana.
Oh, he was a freaking killer. He didn't care. That's my brother forever. Like
that's what I'm saying, dude. I loved watching film on Mo because he would cripple people out there, dude. He would literally turn them into pretzels on the field. I mean, it was great.
Right, like that dude. Like you guys don't understand. He gets no pub. But if you guys go back and watch the 2002 Boston College game, I think it was the first play of the game. He knocked the middle linebacker out of the game. Like this dude, he was a straight killer. Like I love Mo. Mo, he was like, look, hey, I don't care if I get the ball at all. That dude that I got to block him, I'll kill him. I said, enough said. And I mean, Mo was a straight. I mean, he was a killer, man, and like loved him to death because. I mean, and I think that's what embodied, like, I think that's why we had the success because, I ran for a lot of yards, but so did Quincy, so did Rashid. Our defense we were all selfless. And, we had talent, but at the same time, we cared about each other. It wasn't about, I'm not getting the ball. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the receivers are like, why we ain't run the ball more? I'm like, shut up. You know what I mean? If y'all was open, you probably would. You know what I mean? But, at the same time, we were selfless. We were so selfless where it came down to, just do your job. Like, just do your job to the point where, I never had to worry, like, if Mo was going to be if Mo was going to miss his block. Never, ever, ever. I was like, coach, if one of them, you was 4th and 1 ISO, coach. What is it, 34 tight? 34 tight. Like, let's go get it. And whoever was in front of that guy was going to die. And I'm like, I'm running right behind you. I don't care. That's what it was, man.
And don't the receivers that were like every receiver just wants the ball more, so that's just part of it. It's not a big deal. All right, last question, then we're gonna wrap up. Your one shining moment, your favorite moment while you played for West Virginia, Owen. What was that one single moment that you just hold above everything else?
I'd probably say the run in the Fiesta Bowl for me. I know it's selfless saying it was my own play, but I really struggled getting to the end zone on big runs, and it was I made it. It was the icing on the cake for me, and it just so happened to be in that game, and it was how you'd want you to finish the last sentence in your storybook, I guess.
No, it's an awesome one. Maybe the only one that is more appealing for me is your emotional interview after. That was pretty epic too. But anyway, I saw today, I was just doing a little research. In 3 straight bowl games, you had a 50-yard run. Did you not score a touchdown on the other 2?
No, I did not. One was yeah, I did not. No, I got caught from behind both times.
Man, I'm sorry I brought that up. All right, Avon, let me ask you this. What's your single shining moment, that highlight for you, man? What's the cherry on top?
The cherry on top for me was my final game at Mountaineer Field, man. And I have a picture to prove it, which was, I think it's just one of the greatest pictures, I think, and it's selfless, but I mean, it's selfish. When I broke the record and my teammates, they dumped Gatorade on me. I mean, that was like the best moment I think I've ever experienced. I mean, when you get a Gatorade splash, I don't know, to me, that was like everything. Like the fans held me up. That was phenomenal. But when my teammates dumped the Gatorade on me for breaking the record and just loving on me for that reason, man, that to me was like, it was awesome. It was awesome to be like, man, I just got, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you ever got a Gatorade splash, but I think, I don't know, when a coach wins, you get a splash, it's kind of a big deal. And I felt that moment, and I was like, man, that's pretty awesome.
All right, so 2 things. Both of you guys said you were trying not to be selfish, but you picked that. Those were the last moments you had wearing the jersey, wearing the uniform, man. That was at the end of your careers in college. So by all means, that should be how you go out. And for you guys both to have that at the end of your run, hats off. And trust me, we would love to have those moments ourselves. So you guys worked your ass off for the time you were there. You earned every bit of it. Guys, we're going to let you go. We're going to Morgantown to see Virginia Tech get their ass beat by West Virginia. But are you guys trying to make any games this year? If so, we'll try to hook up and see you up there. But do you have any plans to make it to Morgantown this fall?
Yeah, I
plan
for sure. I plan on going to every game this season, home. I just, my family, I was actually going to go to the Maryland game. But my family, we, and I don't want to get anybody else affected. So, my baby's tested positive for COVID and so I don't know if I'll be able to make it up, for the, VTech game because, they quarantined for 10 days and they're going back, but now I'm feeling kind of stuffy. So I don't know if it's going to be I haven't, last test I didn't, but yeah, my plan this year was to go to every game, that I can get to because of, it's I don't know. I'm sorry. I want to get my boys into football now. I told them football was. I'm like, you guys got to go. I want to get them into football now. I don't want them playing today in middle school, but I really want to get them in football.
Now you get them up to Morgantown, man. That'll do the trick, I'm sure. But hey, above everything else, both of you guys stay safe and stay healthy. And Avon, we hope you get over that little bout of sickness that you might be dealing with, and definitely can make it to plenty of Saturdays up in Morgantown this fall. But guys, we appreciate you coming on the show. It has been a privilege and an honor to talk to 2 legends, and I know our fan base is going to look forward to hearing it too, because we always wear our hearts on a sleeve. We cover all sports across the nation. We've talked to Major League Baseball players, former NFL players, whatever. But there's just something about Mountaineer faithful, man. We love them, and we're going to show that respect. So thank you guys for being on for our 100th episode.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having us, and thank you for partnering me with one of the best fullbacks in the history. I finally get a chance to play with him on the same team. Yes, sir. He did not disappoint.
We weren't sure if both of you would have been good interviews, so we're like, well, if we get both of them, one of them has got to be good. Even if the other one sucks, it'll be okay.
No, it's been a true pleasure. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one. All right, we appreciate you guys joining us for the 100th episode of the We Don't Know Sports podcast. Like Mr. Brown mentioned earlier, we will be back with a roundtable of Major League Baseball experts, I guess you could say, how they played the game. So they're going to come and talk to us as we approach the Fall Classic, as we get into these pennant races and see what's about to happen as we're down the stretch. We're about 30 games left in the season, so anything could happen. But this has been the We Don't Know Sports podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. Find us on social media. But above everything else, enjoy your weekend. College football is back. We'll see you next week.